Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how we grew from 1 million developers to 3 million developers using our product, Postman. And a little bit about the product design strategies that really helped us get here, you know. Before I get into it, a little bit about what we do, in case you haven't heard of us. We are a team of about 15 people, and we are spread across Bangalore, Austin, and San Francisco. And what we do is we make products that help developers build APIs faster. Okay? So basically what that means is you can build, test, share, and document using our products. And of course, there's integration, so you can have automation with your existing build system and tools. Okay? So that's a little bit about what we do. And from this slide, you can see that things are really changing today. APIs are exploding. You know, modern software is built on APIs. And I'm sure you've heard of the word microservices being thrown around. Okay, so that's what we do. So how did we get here to 3 million developers using our product? And there was no traditional marketing involved. And what that means is, no salespeople, no online or offline digital campaigns, no TV ads or anything like that. I mean, what would we say about APIs? So, and no tech events or grand launch events either, okay? And at least not yet. Now, I'm not trying to demonize marketing. I think what I'm trying to say is, wait till you're at the right point, okay? And what we did was we really spent all that time and money and energy on getting the product to the point where it was ready to sell itself and getting it right first, okay? So that was our whole aim in the initial stages. Of course, that doesn't mean we didn't do anything. This is a screenshot of our blog, and so we did use our blog and our website and our Twitter channels to talk about what we do, okay? So if you were interested in us and if you were following us or if you were an existing customer, you could go and check out our roadmap, our product updates, our feature updates. You could really read up about what we were doing. And so I think the main point I'm trying to make here is, spend money on marketing at the right point and not for the wrong reasons, okay? Okay, so rapid growth, how do you get there? And what did we do to get to the sort of correct product design system and product design development? How do you get that rhythm going? A couple of things worked for us, and so I'm going to share that with you, and hopefully that helps some of you. Something that happens to me a lot when I'm in meetings is, the client will think that the product designer or interaction designer is going to choose whether the left menu is going to be blue or green, okay? That's not what product design is. And one way to really gauge where you are in your startup team or your design team and really gauge your sort of design maturity level is just really listen to the kind of conversations you're having, okay? What do these discussions with your designers sound like? What do these discussions with your product team sound like, Are you talking about colors, fonts, layouts, templates, icons, buttons, assets? Or are you talking about user flows, funnels, drop-offs, conversions, analytics, the numbers? These are the really meaty and important design decisions and discussions that you should be having, okay? And so it's all about doing less of all of this stuff on the left-hand side and more of all of this stuff on the right-hand side, okay? And if you spend all of your energies on all of this stuff on the left-hand side, it's going to be really hard for you to graduate to that level, okay? And so I'm just going to talk about, how do you get there? And really try and have all the important discussions, like solving customer complaints, talking about testing. How are you going to do testing? What is your pricing model? And how are you going to represent your pricing model to your customers? So the first thing that I think that really helped us was make all the UI components. Now, this sounds like a massive task, but just hear me out. I think we can all agree that there's a huge gap between designers and developers. Okay, you're making a product together. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of collaboration that has to happen. And how do you sort of ease that? And how do you get faster and better at that? So one thing that we did was we literally made all possible UI components. It's kind of like making the Lego building blocks of your product. And that makes you really faster on the ground. If anything happens, you can just quickly go in, fix that thing, build something new, make a new feature. Everything gets much, much easier, okay? And how it helped our team is it helped all of us get a lot more systematic and disciplined about the product development. And it also encourages prototyping rather than static wires. You're building software here. It's a bunch of moving parts. It's not just this rigid thing, okay? So this really helps you. So this is an example of one of the tools that we use to do this. It's called Zeppelin. And what it does is it automatically exports mockups that we make in Sketch into Zeppelin. And the devs can go in, check out all of the components, look at the colors, look at the sizes, export whatever they want. And you can make larger components too. So models, whatever you want to build, you can build. And it's basically like I said, it's about making the basic Lego blocks for your product, okay? And what this does is it really minimizes all these discussions and back and forths you're having about how many pixels is this and what color is this and stuff like that, okay? And then when developer and designer are talking to one another, it's about the product, it's about ideas, it's about the real stuff, okay? So this really helped us. So some designers may say that making all these components is going to limit my creativity. I really don't agree. I think that Tangram is a great example. It's 7 pieces, and you can make infinite numbers of things. So it's all about getting your basic set right. Your basic building blocks, your basic Lego blocks have to be correct, and it's what I call the sort of design system. So once you have your design system right, you can make whatever you want. You can get as creative as you want, okay? So that has to be done right. The second thing is design decisions should always be in context of the result you want, okay? Don't do opinion-based design. Don't do something because somebody thinks it, okay? Use data, use analytics, use real goals. What is your goal? Do you want more app downloads? Do you want more signups? In our case, it's much more specific. It's, we want people to go from manually testing APIs, which is really painful, to more automation and really help them that way. Okay, so get as specific as you want about the kind of design that you want to do, okay? And at this point, I just want to throw this quote out. This is nothing new. This quote, "Good design is good business," was more than 50 years ago. So let's not be surprised anymore that a design discussion is so closely related to business. Next is being action-oriented. How do you minimize the hypothetical? Okay. The way we do it is we focus on shipping, testing, prototyping, sketches, and making things. And minimize all of these things on the left-hand side. Opinions, meetings, verbal concepts, brainstorming too much. It could be really fun, depending on the team. It can be really fun to go and internally iterate for like 3-4 months or on some cool shit. But actually, the true test of your product and the true test of your design is, does it work in the real life? Does it work in the real world? And so the more you iterate internally, the more you're delaying time to market, the more you're delaying the true test of your product. And so get there, okay? So that brings me to the third point, which is ship, ship, ship. Ship as much as you can, as fast as you can, and as frequently as possible, okay? This doesn't mean ship shitty things, obviously. Ship, the right way, build MVPs, do all that. But ship as much and as fast as you can, because every time your team ships, you learn a lot. You make mistakes. The team gets better and better and better. And we've reached a point where we are doing weekly releases, and it's awesome. Okay, so really try and get there. I think every team has its own way of discovering how to get that right product sort of fit, and how to get really action-oriented and really productive. So whatever works for your team, great. What works for us is demo days. So every Wednesday, we have demo days where each person in the team showcases what they've done, okay? And this is where you showcase what you've done, and you don't talk about what you've done. So for example, front-end, back-end, designer, everyone shows what they've done. And for example, a back-end dev would say that, hey, I've improved performance by 4%, and then shows a graph which proves that it's true, okay? So it's all about being action-oriented and doing stuff. So I've talked a little bit about getting an efficient and fast product design system, and getting faster and more creative that way. But now I think I want to talk a little bit about the growth too. So how do you grow your product without spending any money on traditional marketing stuff? So what we did was we focused on the part of the product that could sort of create a network effect. Okay, and just to clarify here, network effect here doesn't mean getting people to use your products through discounts. Okay, it means finding a part of your product or a feature that really encourages that kind of behavior that you want. Okay, one thing we did is, which I think the whole team felt that this really worked for us, and I think it's a good story, is the run button. So we came up with this button. It looks really simple, but it's very, it took a lot of effort to make this. It's basically a button that you can embed anywhere in the web, and how it works is the moment somebody clicks on it, it onboards developers to that API in seconds. So traditionally, getting to know an API is a really complicated process. And what we did was we created this button which makes it super easy. All you need to do is embed it, and then the moment somebody clicks on it, the Postman launches, and you can explore and test that API. And initially, when we came up with this idea, we were like, let's find some people who really like Postman and ask them what they think. What ended up happening was it just spread like wildfire. We had the embed code posted somewhere, and next thing we knew, everyone had it. This is an example of VMware embedding the run button in GitHub, which for us is awesome. And next thing we know, we have a bunch of people using the run button, and a really nice range of teams. Everyone from sales, Postmates, Apogee, Best Buy, to like Transport for London. And it was a really nice feeling, I think, when this happened, and I think it's a good example of what happens when you do the network effect right. Okay, and this spread because it was really useful for people, and because it was really easy for people to use. So, so you've got, I think, product validation is really important. Like, you can work as hard as you want. You can work 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, whatever you want. You can ship really fast. You can do all of these things right. But what if your idea doesn't work? What if your roadmap is completely wrong? Okay, and I think there's no real answer to this. Obviously, we are all in the digital industry, and there is some unpredictability here. But that's okay. I think that's the fun of working in the digital industry. So one thing that really helped us is validating the product at every step. Don't just ship things without knowing what you're doing. And so what validation meant to us, okay, is that people are using your product. People are telling their friends to use the product, okay? The per person usage is increasing, which means you're doing the right thing, okay? And people are asking for more features and coming to you and getting involved, and these are all good things. This all is good validation, okay? What validation isn't is focus groups and surveys and market research saying that you have a good idea, or having a good presentation, or you have a POC app that doesn't really work, okay? A lot of media buzz is great, but it's not a good predictor of whether your product will work out in the long run. So that brings me to the fifth point, which is validate your product in the wild. Controlled conditions are not the best predictors of success. And that's why we focus so much on shipping. Just ship out into the real world and find out where you are, okay? Don't be afraid. Finally, I want to talk about something that's very, very close to my heart, which is talk to people who use your product every day, okay? These are the channels that we use to talk to our customers, but it depends on what service you are building. So we have Slack, we have Twitter, we have GitHub, Zendesk, and Hangouts. We do video Hangouts with people who use Postman all the time, okay? And it's awesome. So I think what I want to say here is not just do user research. Obviously do user research, and I know a lot of people don't do it, but let me just go slightly beyond that. What tends to happen is user research is typically very structured. You decide, I'm going to do 2 weeks of user research, then I'm going to design the product, then I'm going to put it out, then a little bit more research, then validation in the end. So it's this really structured approach. And I think what we all need to do is get slightly beyond that, okay? Basically, just talk to people as normal people, and I think build a kind of empathy for the people who are using your product every day of their lives, and for the people who are using the thing you've made, basically, okay? What that means is, chat with people, talk to people. Don't just put them in a box of this is the customer, or this is a persona, or, personas are useful, of course, but you need to go beyond that and really come to their level and understand why are they using your product and how are they using your product, okay? A lot of people believe this. Users don't know what they want, and it's a very popular thing that has spread around, at least in UX circles where I'm from. Everybody says this, and I just want to question that. Are you sure about that? Because things today are different, okay? In a focus group, people may say whatever they want, and of course, a focus group or survey or market research isn't what users want. But in the real world, people are going to delete your app if they don't want it, and you won't know, okay? And so I think the true test of users and whether they do whatever they want is the real world. Obviously in controlled conditions, they're going to try and please you. In a research setting, they're going to be like, oh my God, your app is awesome. But in the real world, they'll delete it from their phone instantly, okay? So this is about having some respect for that end user and understanding that they really do know what they want most of the time. And the moment they get bored of your service, they're going to go somewhere else, okay? So let's not underestimate people today, especially today. This is an example of the kind of conversations we have with our customers and users. On the top left, you can see a really happy team talking with the run button. They have embedded the run button in their Twitter feed, which is awesome. And on the bottom left, you can see a kind of bug report, like, oh, something is not working, and then you go and fix it, so that's useful. On the top right, you can see somebody saying, oh, I'm loving the dark theme, which is great for the design team, and I can pass it on. And on the bottom right, you can see negative feedback, also very useful, somebody complaining about the latest update. Okay, so all of this is really crucial, and I think it goes without saying, obviously listen to all of this, do social listening, develop your product accordingly, okay? Don't ignore all of this. But what tends to happen then is that all of your conversations are structured by these mediums. So the kind of conversations you're having with Twitter people, or the kind of conversations you're having through reviews, a review is like somebody really angry or really happy, putting a 5-star or 1-star review, and giving a reason for why they did that, okay? Twitter is, of course, great for conversations, but the kind of people on Twitter are different, okay? And so the kind of conversations are also different, and that defines what kind of feedback you're getting from the people who are using your product. So I think what we are trying to do is to go slightly beyond that. Like, how do you go beyond that? So we do Hangouts, we do face-to-face, of course, but that's not always possible. We are a global product. People from Europe to US to India, everybody uses us. And so, we do Hangouts and all of that. And I think what we found really nice recently is just chat with people, okay? So we started a Slack community very, very recently, just 2 weeks back, and it's almost hit 2,000 people already. And what we do here is that we just say hi to everyone. We crack jokes. All we discuss is APIs and technology, if that's your thing. And here you can see Shamashish, who is our VP of Engineering, saying hi to everyone. So I think the important point I'm trying to make here is just really chat with people who are using your product like they are normal people. Don't put them in a box called personas. And just chat with them every day about what they're interested in to truly understand and gain that empathy, okay, with them. And also, everyone in the team should do this. It shouldn't be the market person. It shouldn't be the user researcher. It should not be the designer. Everyone in the engineering team talks to the customers who use our product, okay? Everyone in the design team does, everybody does. Of course, it's easier for us. We are just a 15-people company, but I think that that's really crucial to understanding why people are using a product and getting to the right product market fit, which we have achieved. So that was a little bit about what worked for us to get to 3 million developers, and I hope that some of it was helpful. I'm going to leave with this quote, which is, every tool carries with it the spirit by which it has been created. Okay? That's it. Thank you, and any questions?
Thanks, Aditi. Any questions for Aditi? Yes, right in front. Can we please have a mic? Right in front here.
Hello. Great talk, Aditi. Could you go back to that column thing? Don't do the ones on the left, do the ones on the right.
Which column?
You said your design discussions, yeah.
This one?
No, what do your design discussions sound like? Yeah. So I get it. They should probably sound more like on the right.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit like the ones on the right should ideally inform, A/B testing and stuff like that.
Yes. So I think what I'm trying to say here is, what's the majority of your design discussions? Because a lot of design discussions devolve into just the stuff on the left. So like, especially in your initial stages, when you don't have a lot of time, when your team is really small, when you're 4 people, you don't have the money or the time to spend on all of this luxurious stuff on the left. Okay, no. You have to get to results faster. So it's more like a result obsessed design process.
No, but I was just saying, like, for example, let's say you observe a lot of people are coming to the site but are not signing up, right? Then, so you do A/B testing to see if the sign up button is not very intuitive or very, so.
Exactly.
So it just sounded like you were being a little bit dismissive of the stuff on the left, but yeah, thanks.
No.
Aditi, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Here's a small token of appreciation from our end.